1.3 million individuals depend on the Section 8 program to keep a roof over their head. Earlier this month, President Trump and his administration just proposed a 2026 budget cutting the amount of funds allocated to the Section 8 program. This has the potential to be devastating to the Section 8 program. Stay tuned to find out why. So since Trump came into the office, he has shown that he is anti-Section 8. He's tried to pass executive orders. He's tried to propose policy changes, propose budget cuts to the Section 8 program. So earlier this month in May, Trump and his administration just released his proposed budget plan for 2026, and this includes cutting funding for housing and homelessness projects by 44%. The biggest funding cut he proposed to is to the Section 8 program. So this is a change of course of what Congress just passed. They just passed a bill a few months ago increasing the amount of spending to the Section 8 program for fiscal year 2025. They've allocated $32 billion to the Section 8 program. And now he wants to make cuts to the Section 8 program.
Some of which could result in funding cuts to welfare programs. The president requesting certain cuts from the Housing and Urban Development Department, including more than $26 billion in state rental and grants and over $700 million in other assistance programs.
As mentioned before, with this new proposed budget, this will cut Section 8 funding by over 44%. So one of the biggest changes in the Trump administration is proposing is that the Section 8 program no longer be federally funded, but rather be funded by the individual states with block grants provided by the federal government. So I know a lot of you guys are wondering, what is a block grant? So a block grant is a lump sum of money given by the federal government to state governments. So let me break down how Section 8 is currently funded by the federal government. So Section 8 is part of the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and that's regulated by the U.S. HUD Department, the Housing and Urban Development Department. So HUD provides funding to local public housing agencies, and these housing agencies then administer these funds to run the Section 8 program in that local jurisdiction. So the Trump administration is hoping now that state governments are responsible for funding the Section 8 program, and they already said they plan on cutting the funding that they plan on giving to state governments for the Section 8 program. If a state does need more additional money to run the Section 8 program, they have to come up how they're going to raise those additional funds. It will not be in the hands of the federal government for coming up with those additional funds, because they cut the budget. So if you need more money, you need to figure it out. That's essentially Trump administration's attitude towards the state governments running this program now. There have already been many local governments and local housing authorities outraged with this proposed budget change, especially those representatives who live in areas where rent is sky high.
Economic justice advocate and organizer Liz Busey says these changes will have a strongly negative impact and fears current Section 8 voucher holders are scared and are currently looking for other resources to survive.
So a San Francisco Section 8 representative has said this could be catastrophic for their local Section 8 program. This is because a 2-bedroom in San Francisco is averaging out to be around $4,800. So if these individuals who live in this area no longer get rental assistance, these budget cuts will just lead to higher rates of homelessness in these areas with higher rents. Have tried to figure out what to do if these budget cuts do become a reality, but they do not want individuals to lose their vouchers. They want to protect families. So some ideas that have been floated around include not issuing new vouchers or scaling back on affordable housing projects.
The Commonwealth's Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities sent a letter to Section 8 voucher holders, warning them that their rent in the next year or two might go up because of, quote, rising costs and insufficient federal funding. and the agency will have to stop its flexible tenant policies. Now, for context, here are some of those policy changes. EOHLC will no longer pay for a household security deposit, no more earned income deduction in rent calculation, no utility allowances for hot water and cooking, no extra grace period for lower payment standard changes, and $480 of a full-time student's income will be counted.
But with federal funding cuts, LHA says there are no vouchers left to give.
Unfortunately, if Congress does pass this bill, there's a fear amongst housing representatives that they may have to terminate thousands of individuals' vouchers, which they do not want to do. These individuals will just become homeless because we're in an affordable housing crisis. So a lot of these individuals who have these vouchers need these vouchers in order to put a roof over their head. Additionally, outlined in Trump's budget proposal, they want to change the eligibility for individuals to have Section 8 vouchers. So the Trump administration wants to prioritize aids to those who are elderly and disabled, and they want to make adjustments for the requirements for able-bodied, deemed healthy people. Just remember, you can qualify for a Section 8 voucher if you fall below a certain income threshold, elderly, and disabled. So Trump wants to prioritize individuals who have these vouchers to either be elderly or disabled. If you're able-bodied and fall below a certain income threshold and have a Section 8 voucher, Trump wants to propose a 2-year limit for you having a Section 8 voucher. In the eyes of the Trump administration, this is enough time to get back on your feet and become self-sufficient and be able to afford market rent.
Did you hear what Trump said? He said 2 years on Section 8 and that's it.
That there should be new qualifications to receive the welfare benefits. You write, able-bodied adults receiving benefits must work, participate in job training, or volunteer in their communities.
But in practicality, this is not going to work. If you were low income 2 years ago, you're most likely going to be low income 2 years later. 2 years is not even enough to complete a college degree. As mentioned before in my prior videos, a lot of these individuals with Section 8 vouchers do not have a college degree. Some of them didn't even complete high school. So these type of individuals are only eligible to work low-wage jobs, and we're in an affordable housing crisis. These low-wage jobs do not make enough money to afford market rent, especially when you're living in areas where rent is sky high. Without a Section 8 voucher, these individuals would be homeless most likely. Regardless if you have a Section 8 voucher or not, the cost of housing and rent has outpaced wage growth in most of the US for several decades.
Encourage able-bodied people in America that are receiving government subsidies to work. You know, there was a study that came out, almost 50% of households that are receiving HUD funds, almost 50%, not one person in that household is working.
Many people have the belief that all healthy Section 8 tenants are abusing the system and they don't want to work. But this is not true for many individuals. I've seen individuals with Section 8 vouchers who work full-time jobs, some of them working multiple jobs. But because rent is so high in so many places, they still can't afford market rent without rental assistance in the form of a Section 8 voucher. So this proposal to kick healthy individuals with Section 8 vouchers off of the program after 2 years is unreasonable, and it's just going to lead to homelessness. It's not going to lead to independence that the Trump administration thinks is going to happen.
Says this move could also mean an increase in evictions and homelessness. She also tells us the number of people sleeping in cars at the moment is going up. Right now, Arise for Social Justice is collecting tents in case people need to sleep outside.
If Trump really wants less people off of the Section 8 program, he needs to address this affordable housing crisis, address what's driving it. Housing shortages that we're in, the rising costs, and the systemic inequality that individuals are facing. As of now, this is just a proposal. Nothing is set in stone. But as I mentioned, the Trump administration wants to cut funding to the Section 8 program and place these eligibility limits for those with Section 8 vouchers. So what do I think is going to happen in the future with the Section 8 program? I don't foresee the Section 8 program going anywhere. It's been around for over 50 years and there's over 2.3 million people who do use the program. And if these individuals lose their voucher, it's going to result in the largest homelessness crisis in the entire world. But the negative effects I do see this proposed budget change having on the Section 8 program is that there's going to be longer wait lists to get a Section 8 voucher. I do foresee many jurisdictions not even issuing new Section 8 vouchers, even to those who qualify for Section 8 vouchers. I do foresee this negative news surrounding the Trump administration's attitude towards the Section 8 program is going to scare off potential landlords from participating in this program. Section 8 already struggles with the shortage of landlords wanting to participate in this program. That's why there's many vouchers that are going unused every year because these tenants just can't find a place to live. So that's a wrap on this video. If you like my content and want to stay up to date on everything related to Section 8 news, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Before you exit this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. The Dr. Investor is out.